Welcome back. Super excited, very important lecture. I'm going to talk about data cleaning before you get into the machine learning solution. And this is one of the steps that by far is not only just challenging, but also most time consuming as well. So let's take a look at what are the elements that are involved in cleaning up your data. Before I talk about the actual data cleaning part, just a recap here so far. So from starting with the machine learning problem framing that we've already discussed as the first step. Right now we're in the step 2, which is developing and preparing our data sets. And we're talking about data cleaning, data integration, data collection, and so forth, right? So here in this lecture, just briefly, about 3 slides, I'm going to talk about the importance of data cleaning. And of course, from here, you'll notice that data augmentation leads directly to our business goal evaluation. Okay, so what that means is your data plays an integral part and role within machine learning process. If you don't have the data set up correctly, or if you don't have the correct data, you are not going to achieve your business goal. In other words, it's not going to answer your target answer, right? That you're looking for, or your target question that you posed in the first place. You need to have the relevant data before it can answer your question or do the prediction. Great. So here's the data cleaning. The main aim of data cleaning is to identify and remove errors, remove the duplication of data in order to create a reliable data set. It's one of those things that everyone does, but no one really talks about. In my experience, very few individuals actually make this a big deal within machine learning because everyone is doing machine learning, right? But no one is talking about data itself. The cleaning of data itself is very, very important. And it's an essential part of machine learning. For the most machine learning projects, by the way, just so you know, I would think about 80% of the effort is spent on data cleaning, okay, which means labeling your data, cleaning up your data, removing duplicate values, unwanted information, and so on. So that's a pretty manual process at this point in time. So proper data cleaning can make or break your project. So if you are a machine learning engineer or just getting into this field and you've been given a project to do, I would spend most of my time in making sure that I have the right data, cleaned up data before I can create the machine learning algorithms. So it can definitely make or break your project. Therefore, professional data scientists usually spend a very large portion of their time on this step. Now, of course, we use tools like we use Python, we use other scripts, right, to clean up data to shorten the time, maybe some advanced tools, but typically still you need to make sure that your data is just right. Remove unwanted observations. The first step to clean up your data is obviously to remove any observations that are not desired and not wanted from the data set. This includes duplication or irrelevant observations within your data. By irrelevant observations, we mean that actually don't fit the specific problem that you're trying to solve. Let me give an example. Let's say if you're building a model for single family homes only, you wouldn't want observations for apartments in there, right? It doesn't make sense. It's irrelevant data. Another example would be that I gave earlier. If you were trying to predict employee retention rate within the organization, you will need the HR data, the employee information, right? And so forth. So it has to be relevant. Also need to remove the duplication of data, which is typically the observations most frequently arise during data collection, such as you can combine data sets from multiple places, you need to scrape data, receive data from client departments, and so on. So these are the two main elements you need to watch out for when you're working with either irrelevant observations or duplicate observations. And lastly, filter unwanted outliers. Outliers was one of the things, data values that do not fit within the chart, right? That's basically an extreme value. So outliers can cause problems with certain types of models. For example, in linear regression models are less robust to outliers than decision tree models, okay? In general, if you have a good reason to remove an outlier, it'll help your model's performance. However, outliers are innocent until proven guilty, so you should not remove an outlier just because it's a big number or it's just an outlier. So you need to make sure, kind of analyze what that outlier is before you decide to remove it. So that big number could be very informative for your model. So all of this information is important when you're trying to clean up your data. And again, most time is spent on this particular process. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, post in the discussion area. Glad to answer. With this, let's move to the next lesson.